Welcome. I thought I'd do a rough and ready tour of my camera bag, a lower pro or a low pro camera bag. I've already outgrown it, and it's, as you can see, it's pretty much stuffed to capacity. And I'll explain to you all the lenses that I do have. I do have only one DSLR, and that is my Canon 550D. I've had it for about a year and a few months, and I've got no intention of upgrading it or going full frame. I do love the camera. It has performed excellently, and attached to it at the moment is my 55-250 Canon IS. It is my one and only long range zoom. It is probably my least favourite lens of the ones that I own, basically because of the performance, but I don't use it enough to really justify spending anything more. So I'm just going to take a picture of an object I've set up so that you will be able to see the camera performance. I'll start at the 55mm range. And I'll also take a photo at the 250mm range. So that is my least favourite lens, but it's still a good quality lens. It is a big improvement over the lens I had previously, which was a Tamron. I think it was a 50-200. I'm not exactly sure now, but it's a much bigger and better lens than that one. My second least favourite lens would be my wide angle lens. It's a Tamron. It's a 10mm to 24. It's my second least favourite. The reason why it probably isn't my favourite is because of the performance at when it's wide open isn't as sharp as I would like it to be. It was the cheapest wide angle lens, so that's the main reason I really bought it. I didn't really want to spend the extra money on buying a Canon or a Sigma version, so I'll just take a photo of this one. That's at 10mm. I'll take a photo at 24mm. And that's my second lens, Tamron 10mm to 24mm. I suppose if you really want an ultra wide angle lens and you not really want to spend the 500 or 600 pounds on a Canon version, I would recommend it, but you are going to have to stop it down a bit in order to get sharp photos. So that's my second least favourite, Tamron 10 to 24mm. Next would be, in my least favourite category, would be another Tamron lens. This time it is the Tamron 17 to 50mm VC. Basically, the reason why I don't like it more than I do is it is quite soft when it is wide open at 2.8mm. 2.8, an f-stop of 2.8, sorry. And it is quite heavy. I've been on a couple of holidays with this fitted onto my DSLR, and it does weigh quite a lot if you're carrying it around for quite a while. So I'll just take a photo of this camera using this camera and lens at 2.8 at 17mm. Not sure if you can hear that sound, that slight hiss sound. It does come from the VC. And now I'll take another photo at the 50mm. Oops. So that is my third favourite lens, the Tamron 17 to 50mm. Now I go to my second favourite lens in my collection. It's here. It is the Canon 50mm 1.4. I basically upgraded to this from the 50mm 1.8. Whether it was a wise decision, I'm not sure, because I did love the 1.8, and until this day probably my favourite photos that I have taken were with the 50mm 1.8. It was very sharp, very good in low light in terms of taking photos, although it does hunt a bit in terms of getting focus. So I sold it and purchased this lens instead. I'll just take a photo of. And that's my second favourite lens, the Canon 50mm 1.4. And now this leads, although I should say that this, although it is my second favourite, it is the lens I use the most. Now let's proceed to my favourite lens, which is the 100mm 2.8 macro. It does produce excellent picture quality, it's great at focusing, delivers good performance in low light. The only thing is the 100mm fixed. So I'm going to take a picture. Down at 2.8. So that is my favourite lens of the, how much is that, 5 that I do possess at the moment. So I would highly recommend that if you're into macro photography. Quickly running through some of my other gear that I carry in my bag. I have a Jessop's flashlight. Couldn't justify spending the money on a Canon version. I believe this was around £70 in the UK. It does the job, so I would recommend it if you don't want to spend the big money on the Canon version. So that is my flash. Also, I have a very cheap and cheerful set of macro lenses. There's 3 pieces, as you can see there, along with the base unit. It can be a pain if you want to change the length or take out a piece, and as you can hear, it is quite noisy. But I bought it for £6, so at this price I can't really complain. That's also in my bag. Of course, you got your cloth for cleaning your lens. Got my silica gel for keeping the lenses dry and the bag dry. I do have my battery grip. It was on my camera for about 6 months, but I recently took it off, mainly because of the bulk when walking around, and I haven't put it back on since taking it off, because I do love the lighter feel of just using the camera as it is at the moment. Also, I do have two tripods. First being a very cheap tripod which I mainly use around the house. It cost me £17. It does the job. It isn't very steady or sturdy, so it is really only for indoor use. But that is the grip I use, not the grip, that is the tripod I use in and around the house. And also I have another very cheap tripod, although it's slightly more expensive than the previous one, which cost a grand total of £29, I believe. It is bigger, thicker and more sturdy. Unlike the previous one, it does have a hook so you can attach weights to keep it steady, and also the bottom of the legs are adjustable. Also, this aids in keeping the camera steady. So that is my second tripod, which I tend to use outdoors. Small little bits to wrap it up would be my small, cheap and cheerful Nikon Coolpix. I rarely use it at all, but just in case. And I think that is about it. Of course, I'm taking this video with my Kodak ZI-8, which I owned before I owned the DSLR, which is also excellent in terms of taking video, although its low light performance is a bit questionable. So I might take a picture of this Kodak camera so that you can see it as well. Later.